What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Talking Pigskin Week 10 edition. As always, I'm your host, the Great One, Kishwar. Sorry, I digress. Got a little too ahead of myself. What did we see last week? We saw an amazing Jet victory last Thursday night. I was at the game. Although the crowd was 50-50 split between the Bills fans and Jet fans, it was great to be there and see the Jets just absolutely demolish the Bills. Even though it got close at the end, but the game from start to finish was all Jets. So definitely don't get to see many of those, especially in the recent past. So enjoyed it to the max. Loved every second of it. Josh McCown played very good, managed the game accordingly. Matt Forte, Bilal Powell had a great game. Even Elijah McGuire got 13 carries in the game. Not a ton of yardage, but he kept the drive moving. So that was great. The defense came to play. You saw them. Jets will dance to anything. It was great to see that. This is how they should have been playing all year long. I'm just glad that this young team finally found a way to take a lead against a good team and just stay on top of them and not let down. So I was very happy to see it. The 0-16 Jets are actually the 4-5 Jets going into Tampa this coming week. So we'll get to that pick in a few minutes. But who would have saw Duncan, right? Who's seen this coming? Even including myself, I predicted the team to go 2-14. And look, us Jet fans are just enjoying the season, and it's very refreshing to see this team give us so much happiness after a long time. So, moving forward, we'll see what happens, but let's just enjoy the ride, right? Let's see. We have Week 10 games starting tomorrow night. We have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Drew Stanton, quarterback, even at home, I don't see him doing much. The Legion of Boom hasn't looked very good lately. Earl Thomas was out last week, but Kirk Cousins actually put on some points on them when it mattered in fourth quarter. So definitely something Seattle needs to check on moving forward. That offense is actually pretty good, even though the offensive line was a problem. But I think with the addition of Dwayne Brown, they have been better. Russell Wilson has been great all year long. I'm pretty sure the defense will carry the team as usual. As for the Cardinals, AP had a great game last week. I actually have him on my fantasy team, and he got me 15 or 13 points, either or. But it's great. Old running back still performing at that level is good. I just don't see them overcoming the Seahawks, especially without Carson Palmer. So Seahawks on the road tomorrow night. Moving on to Sunday games, and the first game we have is the New York Jets taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs will be out without Jameis Winston and Mike Evans. Not sure who's out on that defense yet, but this game is for the Jets to lose. You cannot blow this game. You're facing your former quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sure, he knows about the defense. Sure, he's going to see almost every blitz packages or anything Todd Bowles will throw at him. But at the same time, he has different weapons this year who he is not familiar with. Deshaun Jackson is still there. O.J. Howard is there. Cameron Bates there. But no Mike Evans is going to be a huge problem for them. I don't see them overcoming that. As for the Jet offense, keep doing what you did last week. Running game needs to get going. The big O-lineman up front needs to protect McCown and make sure he manages the game well. I don't need McCown to throw for 300 yards. Just keep the game close or within striking range all four quarters and make sure you finish. So with all that being said, the Bucs will not win this game. The Jets will actually go down to Tampa and get the W. Moving on to the next game, and we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Martellus Bennett got released by the Packers today for a non-disclosed injury reason. I'm pretty sure he just wanted out. I think he wants to go to a contender. He wanted to go play with Rodgers. Unfortunately, that ended way too early for him. I don't even think he has a touchdown this year, so that's alarming. As for the Bears, coming off a good bye week. The defense, which has been pretty good the last couple of weeks before they went on a bye, will look to continue their streak against Brett Hundley and that offense. I think they will do very well at Soldier Field. Mitch Trubisky hasn't been very bad, but he hasn't shown anything yet, but clearly energized the team just by his mere presence. So I'm going to pick the Bears to win this game. Moving on to New Orleans Saints traveling to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills looked hapless on Thursday night. The Jets ran all over them. Do I expect the same? Probably not. They will adjust accordingly. especially at New Era Field. They're going to be very tough to beat. New Orleans, one of the surprises of the year with their 6-2 record, will be coming in high. Drew Brees is playing exceptionally well. Their running game is working. Even without a great defense, they have been playing very good. And remember, last year, this defense was one of the worst defense historically in the NFL. So for them to turn it around, it's been a great success story for them. I expect them to go on the road to take care of business and beat the Bills. Moving on to the Cleveland Browns taking on the Detroit Lions. Lions coming off a very good Monday night game against the Packers, where Marvin Jones and Matthew Stafford put on a show for everyone. Golden Tate also had a decent game. As for the Browns, I believe Deshaun Kaiser is still the starter. Not sure what's happening. They even botched the AJ McCarron trade last week before the trade deadline. I don't know how you can get better unless you clean house. So, Mr. Haslam, you have your work cut out for the offseason. Browns will go down easily against Detroit. Moving on to Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts actually went down to Houston and took care of business. Jacoby Brissett is playing pretty good. I do expect him to finish out the rest of the season. Andrew Luck is going to be out, so I don't think Scott Tolzien is going to see the field at all. Brissett, it's his team going forward, and I don't think he'll do good against the Steelers, though. Coming off a bye week, I think Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown will be all ready to go. They are just one of the class of the AFC, and I think they're going to do very well in Indianapolis. I don't even see this game as a close contest. Pittsburgh all over them. Moving on to LA Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags defense, my God, they're so damn good this year. Calais Campbell has been an amazing addition for that team. Add in Marshall Darius, that only helps that defensive line. Jalen Ramsey, although he got in AJ Green's head last week, I don't expect him to get in Keenan Allen's head. I think they're just two different personalities. This will be a very good game. I expect this game to be very close, just because Phillip Rivers is going to try his best to keep the Chargers in it. However, I think they won't be able to pull it off. I think Jacksonville will win this game. Moving on to Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Tennessee Titans. Titans last week looked pretty good against Baltimore at home. Marcus Mariota finally connected with Eric Decker, who came back to life. It's about damn time. Halfway through the season, no sight of Eric Decker, so it was good to see him finally get a touchdown. As for the Bengals, that O-line I predicted before the season, loss of Andre Whitworth and Kevin Zeitler will come back to haunt them, and it is haunting Andy Dalton almost every single week. And that's going to continue at Tennessee Titans over the Bengals. Moving on to Minnesota Vikings taking on the Washington Redskins. Kirk Cousins, he's a free agent next year. You know he's going to get paid. That man is so good as a quarterback. He may not be the top 5, but you can win with this guy. This guy has been great all year round. Sure, he lost to Dallas. He couldn't get much going. But against Seattle in CenturyLink, coming back from a score that Russell Wilson scored with like 2 minutes left in the game, was huge for him. And I expect Kirk Cousins to take care of business at home against the Vikings defense, who are actually very good. Don't get me wrong, but they're coming off a bye. I expect them to be a little flat. Good news for them, Teddy Bridgewater will be active for the first time in a year and a half since that gruesome injury. I still think Case Keenum will get the start. I just don't think they'll be able to do much in Washington, and I'm going to pick the Redskins to win. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, the first game we have is Houston Texans at LA Rams. With Tom Savage starting, I don't expect much out of the Texans, even though the defense is pretty good. As for the LA Rams, another surprise of the year at 6-2, Jared Goff, and that offense is looking mighty good. Sean McVay, definitely Coach of the Year candidate alongside Todd Bowles, so definitely Rams will put up a lot of points against the Texan defense, who is missing two very key pieces in Watt and Cushing. Moving on to the Cowboys and Falcons, I think this is the biggest matchup in 4 o'clock hour. The Falcons returning home after a while. They've been on the road for quite some time. This is a must-win situation for them. Last week, Julio Jones dropped a gimme touchdown that he will probably catch 9 out of 10 times. Don't know what's wrong with him. He always gets banged up midway through the season, and I think he's going through that stretch now. As for the Cowboys, they're coming off an impressive victory over the Chiefs. They're going to try to go into the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium and try to continue their role, but I don't think in Atlanta they'll be able to do that. I expect the Falcons to finally bounce back and take care of business at home. Moving on to the New York Giants against the San Francisco 49ers. upset alert. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win this game because this is the only game in the schedule I think they can win. The Giants coming off an embarrassing loss at MetLife Stadium last week against the Rams where they got 51 points dropped on them. Straight embarrassing. I cannot believe this team hasn't fired Ben McAdoo yet. Then again, what's the point? This season was a wash for them anyway since they lost Marshall and Beckham. So I don't see them doing anything on the road in Santa Clara. Jimmy Garoppolo may be starting. Even if he doesn't, I expect 49ers to come out and play because they know this is the only game they have in the schedule to win. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we have the Patriots taking on the Broncos. Again, Broncos have Osweiler starting. We all saw how it panned out last week against the Eagles. And now he's going to go after Tom Brady. Even though Brady struggles in Mile High, and even though Osweiler has a victory over Brady in Mile High a couple of years ago, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Brock Osweiler is a lost case. Tom Brady coming off a bye week. He's fully healthy, good to go. Patriot defense will be much better than they were the first few weeks of the season. And I think Patriots will run all over the Broncos. Moving on to Monday Night Football, we have the Dolphins taking on the Panthers. Cutler did look pretty good last week, actually. He did very well with all his receivers. The running game struggled without Jay Ajayi. It was very, clear that was a dumb trade on the Dolphins' part. As for the Panthers, beating the Falcons at home was very good for them. Devin Funchess is the leading receiver of the team now, along with Russell Shepard. And whoever they put out there, Curtis Samuel, there you go, the Ohio State product. Cam Newton has to carry this team moving forward. It's inevitable. McCaffrey and Stewart also have to get going, and I don't think they'll struggle much at home against the Dolphins. I'm picking the Panthers to win that game. So upset are the 49ers for sure, and I would go with, for the lock of the week, let's do, this is a tough one actually. I'll go with the LA Rams over Houston Texans. Let me know what you guys think of these picks. Like, subscribe, comment, pass it along, pass it to anyone you know. Just get the views up on my channel. I highly appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think of these picks. I'll see you guys week 11. Jesus, it's just flying by. So yeah, week 11 next week. See you then.